everyone, and welcome into our third video of the COVID-19 Roundtable series. I am Elizabeth Scalzo, the editor-in-chief of the FDU Equinox, and today we are going to be talking about the residence hall policies with opening back up after the closing because of the coronavirus. And the main thing that is discussed in the 37-page PDF that was sent out by President Capuano on Monday is that there's going to be a lot less students in the residence halls, and there's also going to be several different safety precautions put into place. So starting off, we will have Sonal talk about what is going to be the quarantining precautions and the occupancy for the living areas on campus.
My name is Sonal, and I am a staff writer for the FDU Equinox. Residence life protocols are being disclosed and updated as time passes. The August 17th start date is 4 weeks from Monday, and there are still a few details to work out. The school is trying to find ways to reduce the number of residents on campus to meet the new occupancy limits. The new occupancy limits will be reduced due to the fact that it is expected that students are to maintain the 6-foot distance from each other on and off campus. The plan is to reduce the occupancy limit on the Forum campus from 1,689 residents to 1,400 residents, and to reduce the occupancy on the Metropolitan campus from 1,023 residents to 600 residents. This will be especially challenging due to the number of international students who attend FDU. To do this, the occupancy of triple rooms will be reduced to 2 people, and the occupancy of single rooms will be reduced to 1 person. A portion of the double rooms will be used for resident isolation and quarantine. Right now, there are 30 isolation and quarantine rooms on the Metropolitan campus and 33 isolation and quarantine rooms on the Forum campus, and these numbers will increase if the spread of COVID-19 increases. Each of these isolation and quarantine rooms will have private bathroom facilities. Specific teams were organized to coordinate housekeeping services, food delivery, and patient care. Students will be able to report their symptoms when Student Health Services calls them each day because the bathrooms will be stocked with a thermometer. In addition, these bathrooms will have toiletries, soap, hand sanitizer, sanitizing wipes, and tissues. Students in quarantine and isolation rooms will be able to fulfill their academic requirements online. Students in isolation and quarantine will be able to receive counseling services to receive support in continuing as many aspects of their life as possible. The upcoming semester brings more answers, and yet there are still more unanswered questions, including the following. How will laundry be taken care of for quarantined and isolated students? Will this be covered by the quarantine and isolation care teams? What happens if the number of residents that needs to be quarantined and isolated reaches 600 on the Metropolitan campus and or 1,400 on the Forum campus? Will classroom instruction be moved to Zoom? Will we have to wait until the number of isolated and quarantined residents meets the occupancy limit for one or both campuses before moving back to virtual instruction? Recently, President Capuano has been holding virtual town hall meetings to keep the FDU community informed. We will be heavily relying on the next virtual town hall to bring us more information so that we can serve the FDU community by providing as much accurate information as possible. Back to you, Elle.
Thank you, Sonal. I think a really interesting point that you made is, what exactly is the capacity that we have to have of coronavirus on the campus before we will shut down and move completely remote for this semester. Hopefully that doesn't happen and we don't have to worry about that, but it definitely has to be something that they are planning for, and it would be nice to kind of know that number. So hopefully we can find out at the town hall about that, especially because it seems like because they're going to have students be in a room with their own private bathrooms on the Metro campus, that would be the North Point residence hall because everywhere else has shared bathrooms. So, there's only so many rooms in North Point for people to go to be quarantined in. So up next, we are going to talk a little bit about the process for applying for a medical single. Now, it states in the policies for this coming fall in the PDF that we have referenced, which we will have linked down below, that you can apply for a medical single if you are of a type of person that has a compromised immune system of any sort, but they don't really go about any procedures of how to do that. So Anthony is going to talk to us about how you normally would apply for a medical single, and we hope to find out at the town hall if you have to go through that procedure or if there'll be a different procedure because of COVID.
So hi, I'm Anthony. I'll be covering, like Al said, the possibility of applying for a single dorm. So FDU announced in their reopening plan that the residential capacity for the Metro campus will be reduced to 600 from the original 1,023 students for fall 2020, while the Florham campus will be reduced to 1,400 students from the original 1,689 students. So it looks like Metro's getting a little more reduction than Florham, which is a little interesting because Florham has more students. But they will convert triple rooms to double rooms, reducing suite capacities. Double rooms that are being used as singles for resident student isolation and quarantine, like Al said, and double rooms for special needs singles. So from the looks of it, it's a lot of information. It looks like the double rooms that are being used as medical singles will be converted just for students that have symptoms of COVID-19 to quarantine and self-isolate from the other students. The plan also states that students who request a single room because they are immunocompromised or have serious underlying medical conditions or otherwise at high risk for severe illness from COVID-19 will be given a priority assignment of single rooms. So with this, clearly students with severe health issues will be able to request a single room, but it is unknown in the plan how many single rooms will be available for students to request it. Most of the double rooms being converted to singles will be used for students to quarantine. So the amount of single rooms for sure will be limited to a certain amount of people. It just depends how many rooms there will be. And FDU says they will closely monitor the housing needs for students in the coming weeks up to the semester due to the amount of students who are on campus, so students can move in as soon as they can settle into their dorms. So back to you, Al.
Thank you, Anthony. Something that I wanted to bring up is there is information on the FDU website on how to apply for a medical single through the disability support services, but I'm not sure if that procedure is going to be the same for someone that needs to apply because they are immunocompromised, but we will hopefully find that information out very soon as the semester is quickly approaching and move-in dates will be starting very soon, which will be by appointment only, as was mentioned in the 37-page document that was sent out. Up next, we're going to kind of be diving into the common areas that will be closed and what's that going to look like for residents. I know specifically like your freshman year, it's like tradition like for everyone in your building to squeeze into like one of those tiny Linden lounges and have your building meeting. So Joanna is going to talk to us a bit about what it's going to look like with common areas being closed.
Thank you, Al. I am Joanna Marino, the news editor for the Equinox. On page 16 of the plan, the subsection on-campus resident housing begins. Within it, guidelines for common areas and disinfection were described. As part of the initiative to reduce density and congregations in residence halls, common areas that do not get in the way of entering or exiting the building will be closed. This includes kitchens, game rooms, fitness rooms, lockers, and lounges. Laundry rooms will have a restricted and maximum capacity, though it wasn't specified in the document how many people can be in each type of laundry room, nor how will it operate. Elevators will have signs posted with the adjusted maximum capacity. Masks will be required in every location outside of your respective dorm room. And the plan states that FDU's facilities and auxiliary services staff will be cleaning open common areas on a daily basis, as well as other high touch points like light switches, doorknobs, elevator buttons, or any other high touch surfaces, etc. Sharing bathrooms in residence halls will be cleaned twice a day, but for single rooms, students will be expected to clean their own bathroom. Personal hygiene and grooming materials or products cannot be left in a shared bathroom purposely. Other than the above hygiene precautions, students are expected to take full responsibility to wipe down any common fixtures that they use, like faucets, or use a cloth or elbow to open door handles. Thank you, Elle.
Thank you, Joanna. I especially think it's very interesting that like the kitchen areas will be closed for the dorms because most of us will be eating in our rooms for at least the time being until it's approved for New Jersey restaurants and dining facilities to allow indoor dining. So if you have food that like you put in your mini fridge, if you don't rent a micro fridge from the school, you can't have a microwave in your dorm room. So you won't have a way to heat up your food, which I mean, I guess you just got to eat it all at once then. But I don't know. I feel like that's going to be an interesting situation. I know that I used to make myself Easy Mac quite a bit, especially freshman year, because the dining hall food just doesn't always satisfy what you want. So it definitely will be an interesting adjustment for living on campus. And next, we're going to have Nancy talk to us about outside visitors and what we can expect as far as that goes for the fall semester.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Nancy, the entertainment editor for the Equinox, and today I will be discussing visitor policies for the fall semester. Under FDU's reopening plan, there are no outside visitors permitted on campus in the fall semester, except for limited move-in and move-out visitors. Like all students, faculty, and staff, these permitted visitors will be required to follow the same rules. They will be required to wear face coverings, meeting CDC and State of New Jersey guidelines on campus, both indoors and outdoors at all times. Disposable face masks will be available in a predetermined, easily accessible location within each open building and at public safety. Similarly, permitted visitors must observe social distancing requirements and remain at least 6 feet apart from each other at all times in all indoor and outdoor spaces. All other visitors must be scheduled in advance and must check in at the public safety office or guard booth. Visitors will be asked to self-report any symptoms of COVID-19, and they will be required to show a form of ID and to state the purpose of their visit. A log will be kept of visitors and which areas they visited for contact tracing if needed. Additionally, food service delivery will not be allowed in residence halls, and all visits by students to other dorm rooms are strongly discouraged, but can visit each other so long as everyone is wearing a face mask and practicing social distancing. Also, consent must be given from all parties, and only one guest at a time is permitted in a 2-person room, whereas 2 guests will be allowed in a suite. Overall, visitors are expected to follow the same rules as students and staff. However, they are subject to change based on federal and local guidelines at the time of our return, so nothing remains certain yet.
Thank you, Nancy. As far as the move-in policies go, it's going to be very similar to what we had to do to move out from the spring semester. For anyone who is a freshman and didn't have to experience that, you are going to have to sign up for a move-in time. I'm assuming it'll be an application on the My Housing portal like it was for the spring semester to move out, and you probably will pick a time frame in a day like you did for the spring semester, and then you'll be given 90 minutes to move all of your belongings into your dorm room. You'll only be allowed to have one person to help you. For the spring semester, we checked in at our dorm building for North Point, and then for the courts and the sub, you checked in at the, for the courts and the Lindens, you checked in at the sub. But I don't know how it'll go exactly for fall. It'll probably be very similar procedures. And also something that was mentioned whenever, like in the main part of the email before, like not even in the PDF, just in the main part of the email, is that you will either have to quarantine 14 days prior to going to FDU, have a COVID test that is recent, or quarantine in your dorm room for 14 days after you get to FDU, which I'm not quite sure how that would work, being that you can't have dining delivered in the dorms. If you're not allowed to leave your room, I'm not exactly sure how you're going to get food for quarantining, so I would suggest quarantining prior to your arrival or doing the COVID-19 test, but that's just my opinion. I'm not sure exactly what circumstances they're going to do for dining or what your options will be. So just to keep yourself safe, I would recommend doing one of the first 2 options, but it's definitely going to be a very different fall semester. I know there's been times where I just go up and hang in a friend's dorm room because, and I'm sure Joanna and Sonal, you both have lived on campus. You can agree with me. There's times where you just go and hang out in one of your friend's suites or another person's dorm room and have like game nights because you're bored. And it's definitely not going to look like that in the fall. So hopefully we can get more information at the town hall meeting and have an article up ASAP to update everyone on the information that we did not receive in the document. But this is going to continue to be the year like no other, as we keep saying, and the Equinox will continue to update you on all information that we can. Next week, we will be having another one of our COVID-19 roundtables, so be sure to tune into that. And make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and share this video with everyone. Links to our websites and social media will be in the description box down below, as well as the link to the PDF file that was sent out by President Capuano in case you have not read through it yet. We are working on an article series to help break that down better for the student body, so definitely check that out as well.